RAM Rating Services says Bank Negara may cut the OPR to 1.5% by the end of 2020 as Malaysian government securities yields fall to record lows amid the abundance of global liquidity. RAM economist Woon Kai-jet said in a note that the agency expects domestic bond yields to stay suppressed. The benchmark 10-year MGS yield fell to a record low of 2.62% as at end July, while the shorter-term 1-year MGS hit a fresh low of 1.78%. Meanwhile, AmBank research said that disinflation, coupled with the weaker 2Q GDP numbers, is anticipated to trigger more monetary easing. AmBank further said the current strong ringgit also provides ample room for another 25 BPS in the OPR cut in September from the current 1.75%. In a note, the research house is now factoring a 70% chance of a 50 basis point OPR cut next month. Petronas Chemicals Group saw its second quarter net profit plunge over 83% to 186 million from 1.12 billion previously as product prices and volumes dropped and margins were squeezed. Revenue fell by 26.7% to 3.2 billion from 4.3 billion ringgit last year. Petchem declared an interim single-tier dividend of 5 cents per share. As such, Petchem's first half net profit fell by 64% to 692 million, while revenue also declined by 19.8% to 7.07 billion from 8.47 billion ringgit. MD and CEO Datuk Sazali Hamzah says that overall the group delivered a resilient performance despite operating in an extremely challenging environment. Going forward, Sazali says Petchem is cautiously optimistic as the market is showing signs of improvement as economies start to reopen. But meaningful recovery is only expected to start to occur gradually end 2020 into 2021. In the meantime, he says Petchem is focused on enhancing its operational and commercial capabilities as well as its cost reduction efforts to help soften the impact of low product prices. Kuala Lumpur Kepong saw a 658% surge in net profit to 368.7 million for the third quarter from 48.62 million, thanks in large part to foreign exchange gains. Revenue for the quarter was flat, around 3.7 billion ringgit. In its boss filing, KLK explained that it saw forex gains totaling 199.3 million during the quarter. Part of it came from the translation of intercompany loans denominated in foreign currencies and a gain on translation related to a USD-denominated bank loan. Even without the extraordinary items, KLK's plantation operations recorded a substantially higher profit of 229.4 million due to improved CPO and palm kernel prices. Despite COVID-19 uncertainties, KLK expects to see profit improve for FY20, underpinned by better CPO prices and as global economies start to reopen. Goldman Sachs Group in Malaysia have signed an agreement to finalize the bank's $3.9 billion settlement over the 1MDB scandal, Bloomberg reports. The Wall Street Bank confirmed the formal accord in a regulatory filing late Tuesday in New York. Goldman Sachs, which had announced an agreement in principle on July 24th, must make a $2.5 billion cash payment to Malaysia within 10 days, according to Bloomberg. The deal helps the bank move on from its worst scandal since the financial crisis, while allowing Malaysia to recoup much of the $4.5 billion that was said to have been lost from 1MDB at a time when the government is seeking funds for its massive stimulus packages. However, this pact doesn't resolve other pending governmental and regulatory probes related to 1MDB, including one from the US Department of Justice. MSM Malaysia Holdings saw its losses narrow in the second quarter, posting a net loss of 21.6 million compared with a previous net loss of 67.3 million ringgit. According to the sugar producer, this was due to higher margins, lower finance costs and operating expenses. Revenue for the quarter dipped 5.4% to 448.7 million ringgit. For the first half, MSM's net loss narrowed to 56.3 million from 74.4 million previously, while revenue stayed fairly flat at 959.6 million ringgit. According to Group CEO Datuk Khairil Anwar Aziz, the group has embarked on several strategies to remain competitive during these challenging times. He says that through MSM Johor, the group now has room to diversify its range to include products such as liquid sugar and to broaden its export presence.